So in this video, I'm going to be showing how to make the three kings for your nativity scene. I bought this board here, I think at Home Depot. Total was about $28. It's a 4x8, so it's pretty thick. I cut it in half. Here's the longer piece. I bought two of them. This right here should be able to make me the three king silhouettes, and then the other half should be able to make me the camel silhouette in the background. Now this is a little cheating technique that I like to do. I got a little projector, hook it up to my laptop, then I bring in the cut pieces inside and I project to it. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm gonna have to cut it later and I can adjust it as I see fit. Alright, so now we're gonna go ahead and start cutting out the silhouettes. You can buy a bit that's a little bit skinnier than this, which is always good for getting in these little tight cuts, these little tight knits where you're going around little circulars that are really tight. This one won't turn as easily. So, all right, now to make it a little bit easier on myself, as you see, I'm gonna end up cracking this because I was just I was putting too much weight on the board. So what I did is I cut them all out, all the pieces out individually, and I just kind of made wide cuts. So now all I need to do is just trim off the little excess pieces, which will make it a lot easier. And there's not so much weight in between the pieces. Pretty much finished cutting them out. I sanded the edges a little bit just to get some of the roughness out. Nothing special, just went with the sandpaper. What is that, like I think 100 grit, 60 grit sandpaper to just get the rough edges off. And this is kind of what it's gonna look like. Go ahead and paint them white now and let them set. Now I got some of this Behr paint and primer. I think it's meant for outside. Yeah, there we go. Exterior satin enamel. And just gonna smother this all over, paint this all white, nice and white. All right, so I finally got them all nice and painted. I put on 2 coats of that white paint. I did make sure that on the very top, I put a really good thick coat. Because reality is these are going to be standing upright, and in the winter rain and stuff like that, winter month, I don't want the water to seep into the wood, making it crack and stuff. So I put 2 coats all the way around, and even on the tops and the bottoms, edges and everything. So you can see it's all as white as can be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting this 2x4, 8 feet long. So if I cut it in half, the three kings, from the longest to the shortest, is pretty much 3 feet 8 inches. And the camel itself, I think, from its longest point to its little butt end, is about the same distance, about 3 and 6. So basically I'm going to rip this board by 4 feet, cut it down in the middle by 4 feet, and then I'm going to rip it down the middle, again, half. And there we go. Basically 2 4x8s by 8 feet long. That's going to make me 2 of these pieces alone. I got some of that rip board that I had cut earlier. Just place it right here on the very edge. So this will tell me how much to cut off. Probably cut 1 inch off the bottom there. And give it a little bit of a gap so that way it's not visible. Once I cut it, then I'm also gonna paint it black so that way you don't even see it. If it's from the back side, it'll just be black, and at nighttime you won't see it that much. I'm also going to put another piece up at the top end portion here, so that way it kind of gives them a better brace. Possibly right about there. So that way they all hold together, and it'll be one big piece. And like I said, I'll just make another little measurement and cut it, and then paint that black too so you don't see it. And this will be all one big piece that you can hold together. So I pretty much managed to line it up the way I want to. As you can see, you can barely see the black. I still haven't screwed it in, and I was getting my screws out and getting ready to screw it in, but then I totally forgot I had this tool. Figured it'd be less intrusive. It's gonna leave just little divots, which I can always paint over, and it won't be as bad as throwing in some screws and all that other stuff. And this is what they look like standing up. As you can tell, you really can't see the black in there, holding all these three pieces together. I'm still gonna touch up those little divots I put in there when I put the brad nails in. And this is the back side. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up cutting this wood a little bit, so it gives me like a little bit of a lip. So there we go. I pretty much cut a 45-degree angle on the piece of wood that I want to use. You can see, so it's got the little lip. Now it'll hold it steadily backwards. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little divot on here, so that way I put a stake right here and it'll hold it from sliding back. Okay, I got these screw eyes number 212. Just screwed them in. I didn't pre-drill or nothing. I pretty much just used vice grips. I would just pinch it in there and then just stick and twist. And don't look too bad. That's just so I can run the zip cord down it. Hold it down. Alright, so I think I pretty much got this set pretty still where it won't move. Now as you can see, this is where I ran the little eyelets, and I ran the 550 cord through it and then back around, and you can stake it down. I had some of these long screws a long time ago from Home Depot that I used when I nailed down this fake grass, or you can use some good old camping tent stakes to stake it down. Probably would be better with the camping tent stakes because it'll hold it, but reality is I think this will hold pretty good. I'm still going to paint this piece of wood. I'm going to paint it black. You won't really notice it from behind. And like I said, black 550 cord. And same thing over here. So it pretty much should not fall forward. So I might have to make this a lot more tighter, so that way this won't fall forward, and you got the brace on the back side. And also on this piece of wood, I cut a little divot in there. You can see it, so that this will also hold it down pretty good. It should give us a good view of holding that up without needing to be held down too much. I also opted to put some nails here, so that way it'll keep the board from sliding left to right. Figured it'd be good if it's kind of windy. They're, I think, like 2.5-inch nails, I'd assume. And I probably dug it in, what is that? Nailed it in about 1 inch. Just to hold it, like I said. Could probably go in a little bit deeper, but figured this is just good enough to hold it from shifting. So, finished up painting stands. Got my 6 nails, hammer, and pretty much all the tools I'm gonna need to hang these up. right, so there we have it. It's the front view. Like I said, you really can't see the black at all. It looks like they're standing themselves. This is the back view. So here I got my brace and stakes holding it down. I mean the nails holding it down, and it holds it pretty tight, like I said. And I got my little nails here to keep it from shifting left to right. Let's do a little test there, a little pressure test. Actually holds up pretty tight. Got to be a strong wind to come through. So here's the last pieces that I'm putting together now. This is gonna go. I got the shepherd, angel, and then I got the burro, and the two little sheep on there. If you notice, because I didn't want to cut the legs out, I thought it would be they would make it too brittle. So I just painted them in black, so that way it would hold a little bit better and wouldn't make it so it would crack later or something like that. Did the same thing over here. I didn't want to cut this, so I just painted it black. Actually kind of worked out though. Can't really even tell. You probably won't be able to tell at nighttime. Did the same here, just painted it in black. And here is somewhat the final product of the whole setup put together. I kind of staggered them a little bit, so that way it'd give it a little bit of a kind of a three-dimensional look rather than kind of a flat look. This is the original. Me and my daughter built it about 4 years ago. These boards right here, I'm gonna paint these white. I just cut them right now because the old boards that were there, they had twisted and broke. That's pretty much the full view right there of what we are looking at. Wasn't bad. As maybe about $100 in wood, and maybe 150. I mean, all together with wood and paint and everything. Wasn't that bad. Well, I mean, to add those pieces, that was already built. I can't remember what that cost me, but that was maybe I think like $60 to put together. And the final product after we finished painting the sides, also used some thicker boards. Like I said, you can tell the obvious difference, but it looks pretty good though. Get the full view, finished product.